Hello, my name is Deb Coviello. I'm with the USWCA, and I have the distinct privilege on behalf of the Circuit Committee to interview some amazing women who have participated in the circuit. But I also think it's so important that we get to know who they are as a person as well as how they got into curling. So my guest today is Mary Glowacki. Thank you so much for joining the conversation, and please share with our viewers and listeners a little bit more about yourself and your curling career.
Okay, thanks, Deb. As Deb mentioned, my name is Mary Glowacki. I curl out of the Bowling Green Curling Club in Bowling Green, Ohio. I have been a member of the club since 1984, and currently I am the third longest seniority of any member in the club. The club was started in 1969, so it's over 50 years old, and um, I think we have over 100 and maybe 120, 130 members in the club right now. So that's a good thing. Just a little bit about me. Like I said, I mentioned when I started curling back in 1984, and I am a registered architect in Ohio. I currently have my own firm, and one of my highlights in my architectural career is that last year in 2020, I was the president of our state chapter of our AIA Ohio. So I'm currently the past president, and I'll have some other responsibilities on the board once I finish this year.
All right, tremendous accomplishment. And thank you for sharing that. I think it's so important that we get to know the whole person before we dive right in. But just to note, my daughter is studying architecture, loves it, and good to know people in that community. So let's just move into curling. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the circuit, and I'm not sure that everybody knows that much about it. So maybe you can share with us a little bit about how did you get introduced to the circuit and some of your experiences about it.
Okay, I think, and Deb, you might be able to correct me if I'm wrong. I think that the circuit has been in existence for about 10 years or so. And at first, when it started out, I thought, oh, I'm not gonna, I don't do that many bond spiels. Why would I want to join the circuit? And I think probably 5 years into it, um, one of the gals from the club that I would normally curl with on a bonspiel, she was I think in Cape Cod, and had won their first game. And so she contacted me and said, they want me to join the circuit. If I join the circuit, will you join the circuit? And I said, sure. So I joined the circuit. And I think that first year I probably went to one or two bonspiels, probably didn't get any points because we didn't win anything. And then the next year, I think I said, well, I'm supporting the USWCA and supporting the circuit. So I said I would join again, and I got a couple members from the club to join. I guess our problem here in Ohio is that we don't have that many bonspiels in our area, and we don't have that many that were at that time that were belonging to the circuit. So anyhow, I said we joined, and I must have curled with someone else because lo and behold, I think that second year, I got a check. I didn't even know I was getting a check, and I said, "Oh, this is great. I'm going to continue doing this." So I think if I was a member of the circuit for 5 years, I think I got a check 4 out of the 5 years, and so I mean, it was a real bonus to participate in that.
What I really like about that is that, you may or may not have to be somebody that does bond spieling a lot, but just by being part of it, there is a nice perk. Again, getting paid for wins. Again, if nothing else, it's validation of us honing our skill as curlers. I know we do it for sport, for the community, but also it's nice to be recognized for the win and being able to show our athletics and, I don't know, just getting amazing results. So
Right.
the circuit, and the other thing you mentioned there, I was just thinking about is that at the time there weren't that many bond spiels within Ohio. As we're growing, we just added Cincinnati. You never know, there may be more opportunities to curl, but the circuit certainly provides an opportunity for women to come together. And again, it does. If you can't get together your own team, you can certainly find a team, jump on, and meet some new people and curl on some great ice. So I'd love to know if there's just an interesting story or some particular memory from one of the circuit events that you'd like to share with us.
Well, and I mean, I'm trying to think back because without this last season, without having any bonspiels to go to, I'm trying to remember what some of them were. Well, I guess I do have one, and this was probably the reason why I joined the second year is because we had a bonspiel at Bowling Green, and back in 2016, in November of 2016, I was one of the members that went over to Scotland with representing the USWCA in the United States over there for the almost the entire month of November. So when we were having our bonspiel, I said to, when it was our first one, I contacted the team that I curled with, and I said, "Hey, would you be interested in coming to curl in our bonspiel?" So the three gals that I curled with all said yes. So I said, "Okay, well, you can stay with me." So all they had to do was get here. I had a place for them to stay, and we curled, and I know that we made it to the finals. So, I mean, that was a good event. So, I mean, it was fun to curl in that event in my home club with three of my Scott Tour sisters, and being in the finals. It wasn't the A event, but still we made it to the finals. So, I mean, that was, I guess, a real fun experience curling with them again.
You know, if nothing else, what I'm thinking as I'm conducting these interviews with different people that have participated, it's something that ties us all together. You know, we show up at a club here, you know, we're a member and we see each other at a USWCA event. But then having this common thread of being part of the circuit, being part of something that's well organized, brings us together, provides us even more opportunities to curl together. These are just amazing stories. So I get the feeling it's a worthy investment for you to participate in it. You get paid sometimes.
That's right.
So
And
yeah,
then just the other aside with the bonspiel that we held, we had women from New York, Cleveland, Kettle Moraine. So I mean, we had people come in, formed their own. They don't normally curl together, so it was people that knew each other through the USWCA. They put a team together, and put teams together and came and curled in this. So I mean, it's always fun to have people outside of your region that is curling in the events. And I haven't curled outside of the region in a circuit event, but now that I'm getting close to retiring, maybe I will be able to avail myself of curling somewhere outside of Ohio and Michigan, and meeting new women that I have met that I have never curled with.
so based on your experience, and again, we're trying to also connect with people, women curlers, who again may or may not bond spiel and have never really heard of the circuit and are curious about it. What are some closing thoughts that you may offer to them to help them say maybe you do want to consider this and participate?
Well, I think the cost is well within reason. It's not exorbitant to join the circuit. I can't remember. I don't remember whether it's $30 or $50, and so I mean it's pretty reasonable, a reasonable cost. You can, as mentioned, you don't really have to leave your region to participate in this. But if you can travel elsewhere. It's probably also a good, nice perk or nice advantage. Um, it's a lot of fun. You keep, sometimes you see the same women, and so I mean, you make lifelong friendships when you're out there curling. And I think the circuit helps that, because you're reinforcing the sport and the camaraderie. And what else? What else would you do in the winter if you didn't have curling?
Of course, of course. So, Mary, this has been a great conversation. I know for people that are going to be watching this, they're going to think a little bit more about the circuit. Again, we're grateful when we can curl, knowing that we do have a global pandemic going on. And if you are curling, that's wonderful. But just know there are other opportunities for curling and connecting with amazing people on the circuit. I do want to thank you, Mary, for your time for this interview.
Okay, thank you, Deb.
Thank you.